What's going on, guys? Jeff Van here, Takagi on the screen. Yamato is the ship. If you need to pause, you can pause, and then you see on the left side there ships that win the game, and with the mod selections and whatnot. My Yamato set up for full dispersion, for full damage, and it's basically designed to be that way. My thoughts on Yamato: very, very powerful, very powerful. The most powerful ship in the game, in my opinion. Battleship-wise, at least, there's not a ship in this game that can match up against Yamato. Sorry, that's the truth. This ship desperately needed the nerf that it just got. This is, let's see, let me do some quick thinking here. We are 2 days into the update. Haven't had a chance to play it yet since the update. But this is pre-update Yamato, so this is pre-dispersion nerf. And you're going to see in this game exactly why it needs it. This ship is absolutely filthy, okay? To me, I don't play Yamato a lot, not because I don't think it's a good ship. It's a great ship, okay? This is a very, very powerful, very great, dangerous ship. I don't play it because I feel almost dirty when I play it. I feel like you're basically just stealing from people. There's a 16k salvo right off the bat against a Bismarck, okay? I feel as though this ship is so powerful that it basically, if you start to stack in 2 or 3 of them on a team, it renders the other legendary battleships almost worthless, especially a Gross Occur first. That ship is so underutilized, underperformed, from a power standpoint and from a significance standpoint. It's so outclassed and outmatched by this Yamato. I don't know. I have a problem playing it, and I have a problem enjoying it. Let me rephrase that. It's not that I have a problem enjoying it, because I do think it is a very enjoyable ship, and I think it's a well put together ship, and I think it's very, very powerful. My biggest problem with it is, again, you don't have to do a whole lot of thinking in it. And the reason why I say that is because you can overmatch basically every bow in the game. And even if you can't overmatch a Gross Occur first bow, with the damage you're going to be able to do to its superstructure that's the size of, a small country, you're just going to be able to rip people apart. So again, there's another 11k salvo. This ship is just so powerful. The reload on it's ridiculous. The gun caliber is ridiculous. The alpha strike on this thing is absolutely ridiculous. If I go bow in, unless I'm fighting another Yamato, nothing's going to overmatch me. I'm not worried about that. And it's a very, very well put together ship. Look at that dispersion. I understand it's a dispersion build, but holy moly, right? And obviously I aimed a little high on that, so it was bad aiming by me. That wasn't bad dispersion, or the shots went all over the place. This ship, it needed to have some of that ridiculous railguns taken down. So I know, the first couple minutes of this game, it sounds like all I'm doing is ripping on this ship. I'm not ripping on this ship. I'm complimenting how ridiculously awesome this ship is relative to other legendary tiered battleships and cruisers. And, the only ship that you could maybe say is there's 2 that are legendary tier you could say are more overpowered than this. And that would be the Kleber, which basically is, that ship is everything, The torpedoes are ridiculous. The guns are ridiculous. You can get AP pens in that. The speed. Kleber has everything you could ask for. The other one is the Shimakaze. And it's another ship that you could say is broken because, again, you can get so close to people in it. The torpedoes are basically nuclear warheads. So, again, that's a problem, But you're seeing in this game, again, I'm not exactly playing well, right? But you don't have to play great in Yamato to have a great game. And that's my whole kind of baseline point about this. Legendary tier has some real problems, okay? And that is that you basically have 2 different kinds of ships in this game at this tier. Your cruisers aren't true cruisers. Your cruisers are basically battle cruisers, and your torpedo boats slash. Then you see there, I missed the shot because he was kind of angling out. Um, but your destroyers are torpedo boats with great concealment and hard-hitting torpedoes. So you don't have anything to check those, right? You don't. You can say the Alaska's got radar, and now you can say that the Stalingrad's got radar once that finally really gets into the game in a couple weeks here. Yeah, okay. Worcester's there, but again, how many people have Worcester? Not a lot, right? I mean, a lot of people have gotten Yamato first, a lot of people have gotten the Conqueror first, so a lot of people want the battleships, a lot of people want the destroyers. Not a lot of people want to play the cruisers. Cruisers are very hard to play, okay? Cruisers are very hard to play, especially when you're going up against the ships that I just named, okay? It's dangerous. It's a dangerous world to exist in when you're in a Worcester and you have to fight, a team that has 2 Yamatos, a Conqueror, and a Grosser Kerr first. Like, well, what do you realistically expect out of that game? It's gonna be a tough game. So basically, what I'm getting at here is once you start introducing a massive battleship slash battle cruisers with slow reload times and torp ships, i.e., destroyers, that can get so close to their target that they can basically, sneak up and nuke people. And you see there's a Ripper on the Georgia. You end up getting games where people don't move. People don't want to move forward. People are scared to engage and move forward. And that is a huge problem, number one, for ships like the Kerr first, okay? And you have other issues with ships at the tier, like on any other battleship. A lot of times these legendary games, it's people who just hide. They literally will just sit there and not move. And to me, that is ridiculous. I mean, that's another reason why I don't play Legendary Tier a lot. In my opinion, if you started putting in cruisers, legitimate cruisers, like the Minotaur, I don't even know what the names, what would be next, but, give me an 8 to 10 inch gunned cruiser that has a quick reload, that has radar and sonar. Give me something like that can engage these destroyers and protect your battleships, and that way you can actually get into these more classic tier 5, 6, and 7 engagements. That right there is what legendary tier is missing. And I know that this is kind of basically this whole video more so is going to be about my thoughts on where legendary tier sits right now, what it needs and what it doesn't need. And I put this Yamato video up because in my opinion it highlights one of the big issues with legendary tier, and that is when you have very, very powerful ships that basically can outclass every other ship at the tier, you have these problems. And this is a prime example of what goes wrong or what happens when you don't have balance between the ship types. This game is successful and will be successful when you have ships that counter and interact and match each other. And what I mean by that is that when you have ships that basically go and you say, all right, well, the battleship's main job is to engage the cruisers and protect destroyers and play that role where they lock down the map, right? And destroyers' main goal is for spotting and capping. And, again, you could say whatever you want with that. If you want to say torpedoing battleships, because if that's how you play, then, so be it. That's how you play. But, your main job is to spot. And then cruiser's main job is to basically be an anti-destroyer class and engage other targets, and also, depending on what type of battleship it is, what type of cruiser it is, they engage or they prevent movement going forward. Basically what I'm saying is that this game is successful because you have balance between the game. Every ship has its strength, its weakness, its role. Okay? And when you have this tier that really has 2 distinct classes where it's large, heavy, lumbering battleships with battle cruisers that are basically the same as those battleships, and very fast, heavy-hitting torpedo boats that also sometimes incorporate gunboat characteristics, you're going to end up with these issues that we have right now in this tier, and that is those who like to play the battleships are not going to play them aggressively, and those who play those torpedo boats are just going to go to torpedo the battleships because they have no check on that aggression, right? There is no cruiser that's going to go out there and punish that super aggressive push. That's going to be a check on that. So you end up with battleships that don't move and destroyers that push forward, and you end up with one team losing all their destroyers very quickly. Now this Bismarck, I have no idea what you're doing, but dude, you're fighting the most powerful battleship in the game. You can go back to port. Yeah, a perfect example there of what I'm talking about. He ripped into my broadside. He had the same shot that I had, and he paid the price for it, and I did. So I don't know. This ship is ridiculously powerful. So, yeah. I mean, this thing is a legendary just machine killer. I mean, this thing is just filthy. And Georgia, you can have a Citadel as well, another 17K. I mean, to me, like I was saying, I basically feel dirty playing in this thing. And I know that I put myself into a pretty good spot, by minimizing my opportunities or whatever you want to call it. You see there I sent another sailboat at Georgia. He's turning out, so it may be a difficult shot there for him. But, you saw there on the glimpse, you saw Iowa start to turn out, looking like he's going to go broadside. So now at this point I'm saying, all right, well, let's get the guns off to that side, and let's go get rid of this Iowa, and then we'll go after the Georgia. But again, back to my general thoughts on Legendary tier, I think that once you start getting in cruisers that are going to be a more check, if you will, on destroyer all-out aggression, I think you're going to see a more balanced game. And I actually think you will see some more forward-moving battleships and more aggressive play. You see there's front guns only, and there goes the Iowa. Okay. All right. Definitely not an overpowered ship by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, I haven't played well. I'm not lying when I say this. I have not played this game very well, and I'm at 190,000 damage. So, again, I agree with the nerf. I agree with the dispersion nerf. Something has to make this ship competitive with the other ships that it's supposed to be fighting against, and tier 7 ships. I mean, this thing is just an absolute beast. Disgustingly good. So, again, I agree with the nerf. I know some people disagree with it. They're upset about it, but my general opinion on it is that it needs it. Legendary tier needs some legitimate real cruisers, more ships like the Worcester, but give me something with torpedoes too. I mean, give me something that can protect itself against these big lumbering battleships if they get pushed by them, You need more classic cruisers. And that right there, if you get more classic cruisers in Legendary tier that have, this firing rate, that have the AG ability, that have the sonar radar combo, that is the most powerful combination in the game. That combo right there will check the super aggressive destroyer play, and if it doesn't check it, then it's going to punish it by getting rid of those people who play like that. So you see there Georgia just sailing flat broadside, again, great dispersion, and there goes Georgia. That's going to do it for us in this one. So again, we need cruisers, legitimate cruisers, Legendary tier. This Yamato needed the nerf that it got. Hope you guys liked the video. Hope you guys liked a little bit of where I thought the Legendary tier was. If you did, leave it a like. We'll see you guys out on the high seas.